So as we're comfortably laying all the way back, take a few moments to allow your breath to flow. Deep inhales. Good, relaxing exhales. And start to feel your back space expanding into the fabric with your inhale. And just relaxing into itself with the exhale. Today we're going to have a little bit of extra awareness of how our back is affected by any movements that we take throughout our class. And so you'll be aware in stretching the hamstrings, I'm also releasing some of the low back muscles. And taking a forward fold, I'm definitely including the spine. And taking a twist, I'm not just, allowing just the vertebrae to move. It's not just the bones. It's all those muscles of the back. And so this moment here to take a couple of breaths is a chance for us to start becoming aware of the back space. By that movement of the inhale and the exhale, we're able to start becoming more aware. Movement brings awareness to where our body is, where it ends, where it begins. And so as we take the first couple of stretches in our hammock, let's allow ourselves to be extra aware of the spine, extra aware of how it's affected by any and all of these postures. So first things first, allow the arms to stretch all the way to the space behind you and feel your back moving as you wiggle the shoulders left and right. And just start to notice already, almost like we're mapping out the back. Start to be aware of all the muscle groups that are involved. It's almost like instead of studying an anatomy textbook, we're trying to move around and feel how the muscles are affected. And in that way, we're gaining an internal awareness of our body. Good. So returning back to stillness in the center. Let's take some of our leg stretches. Start to hug your hands around the right knee. And as you're hugging around the right knee, feel how this affects the spine. Nothing is isolated in our body. You can't move one thing and not affect all sorts of other things. From here, let's begin to straighten the right leg all the way up to the sky, grabbing on. We're affecting hamstring, the glutes, a little bit of the hip, and even the low back. So beautiful inhale and exhale. Hook the right heel over to the left back side. Once the heel's hooked, slide the shin in, taking that hip opener. And once you're in there with the hip, feel the back. How is the back responding to this movement? Another good breath all the way into the body. With our exhale, free out this leg. Maybe give it one more little tug all the way up before you release it down. Second side, left knee comes in. Hamstring stretch, leg goes up to the sky, pull it in. And hook this heel over to the back right part. Slide the shin in. Feel how the back receives this part. Notice how when one hip is in for the stretch, the shoulders aren't exactly straight. They kind of curve with the hammock hook. So be with that. Let it happen. Breathe into it. Another good inhale. And exhale, free out this leg. Drop it all the way down. Let's kick the feet free off the front. We're starting to sit up. And for the benefit of our spine, let's already head into our first inversion. Hook the thumbs on the back fabric. Make sure that the fabric stays right about that area on the back side of the pants. When we lean halfway back, we're in a tabletop position. So from here, you're safe to continue opening the legs wide as you tilt back. Wrap the ankles, and then allow the spine to just release. It's almost like we have the question here, how much am I willing to let go of my spine? So that all those muscles that have been tight, all the bones that have been crunched together, they get this chance to separate and to elongate. Know that you can come out before others if you need to. Otherwise, let's give it a little bit of time to just hang as long as you're doing good this morning. If we're still upside down here, take another 5 deep, slow breaths. And feel how the breath affects the spine while we're upside down. And when you finish the 5th one, gaze up toward your belly, reach up, grab the fabric, unwind the feet, and slowly rise up, taking a moment with a nice chance to be in this floating child pose. Just resting, breathing, giving our body a moment here. And as we're starting to get more to this position where we can sit up safely, we're going to take a spinal twist. So bunch up the fabric on one side, whichever shoulder faces toward your back wall, open that arm or circle that hand around the fabric, all the way around the back side of the head. Another good breath all the way in. And exhale, release. We'll switch sides. We're taking lots of time here as the body's still using this moment to recover. So good spinal twist, just enjoy it. And take one more good inhale. Exhale. You're going to choose a side to stay bunched up. If you have a side that helps you see me best, just take that one. Bunching the fabric up in the hands, walk the arms straight, and then get that leg to go up and over. We're straddling inside the fabric. So once we're here, doing just a little bit of core activation, bunch the fabric back up in front of you. And from here, almost like a cat-cow, when we push into the fabric, try to lift the legs up. A little bit of core activation there. And then as the legs release back down, let the heart come forward, gaze up to a slight arch through the spine. So going back and forth, push into it, exhale, lift the legs. And then relaxing the fabric back in, gaze up, slight arch. So let's take 3 more of those. And 2. And 1. Beautiful. From here, let's take the legs back inside of the fabric. Extending the legs wide. They're in a huge figure V shape. Hands are helping press the legs even wider. So it's as wide of a stretch as we can possibly take. Try to keep the core engaged so posture is lifting up as tall as possible. And then from here, start to slide the right hand down the right leg. Keep the left shoulder stacked as you reach the left arm up and over. Okay, rising back up, let's switch it out. Sliding left hand down, right arm up and over. Okay, now as we start to rise up, we're going to work our way to standing up inside of the fabric. So the big thing you want to check for right now is that the feet are all the way inside. So toes are not hanging out, they're all the way covered. If you didn't wind up exactly in the middle of your fabric, that's okay. What you'll do is put the feet in the right spot so that when you come up to stand, they'll be in the right spot. You'll note that you don't want to move your feet once you're standing. It doesn't work out very well. So get your feet set up as, right toward the edges, but the toes are all the way inside. And then you'll be in that perfect spot once you're coming up to stand. So before we can stand, we need to come into a little squat position. So slide the heels in close to the glutes. pop the knees outside of the two ends of the fabric, and then grabbing the fabric, we come to a low squat. So it's almost like a plie. We've got our feet underneath us, the knees sticking out. Once you've got this low squat position, then it'll be easy to grab up a lot higher and then just simply stand up. Make sure the head doesn't get caught. We're standing up all the way. So now we're gonna take a splits position from standing up. So I want you to face toward your front, the side that will help you see me best. The shoulder that's to the front right at this moment needs to come all the way behind the fabric. You grip on each side, you've got the fabric kind of by the armpits. So once you're here, start to help the hips face forward. The back ankle, just put it at a comfortable angle. It's not exactly perfect, but you know, it's that good spot where it's comfortable to stand on it. And then begin to let yourself sink the front foot forward and the back foot backward, like a little splits. When you keep the armpits wrapped around it like this, that's the easiest version. It makes it so you don't go too deep. Only if your body knows that you're capable of a little bit deeper flexibility, you can switch the grip to grab on the inside. It'll be the front strand from the inside. So then you're welcome to just let the front foot go even deeper forward, back foot even deeper backwards. Just choose the right amount for your body. 3 more breaths. Another good inhale. And with the exhale, drop the back knee down onto the fabric. So you're kneeling on the back knee. Your front leg straightens back out. And here's a chance to relax even deeper into the front hamstring. This is a half split. Just slide your hands down toward that front foot. We're still kneeling on the back knee. It's not anything forceful here. Just a chance to relax even deeper through this front leg. And as you're taking a forward fold with your spine over, the torso is getting closer to the thigh. So take this moment to check back in with the back. How is the spine receiving this chance to be in this gentle forward fold? Okay, walk the hands back up the fabric to this kneeling position. And then the front leg is going to turn into pigeon pose. So we need the knee to swivel outward, the toes to swivel inward. Once you've got that front leg set up, let the front knee go forward, back leg go backward, and you're in this pigeon pose. You can stay inside. This would be a king pigeon. You get to fill the back in a nice arch. That could feel nice. If that's a little bit too much for the spine, you can free out the shoulder that's closer to the toes and then start to sink all the way forward. Leave the shoulder that's closer to the knee inside, so then it creates a seatbelt effect over your torso. Another great inhale. Exhale, we can start to relax all the way onto this outer hip, this front hip. Once we've got our weight onto that hip again, the legs can swivel right back open to the wide figure V shape that we started with earlier. So use your hands to help the inner thighs spread nice and wide. Another inhale. And then exhale, we're gonna prepare for standing again. So if the toes popped out at all, bring them right back in. The knees will get popped out of the fabric, and we need to come to that low plie squat. So the toes are right underneath us, the knees have completely popped out. Once we're in the plie squat, then just grip up high, push into the fabric, standing directly up. Make sure the head doesn't get caught. And we're standing. So now we're gonna come to the side facing away from me. So the shoulder that's toward your back wall Breathe that one all the way behind, and then face your hips to the back wall. And then once you've got that set up, the armpits are holding you safe, then you can let that front leg go forward and that back leg go backward. Once again, this could be a nice safe way just to easily be here. If you prefer to switch the grip so you can go deeper, that is fine. It's personal preference. Good inhale. Exhale, keep the breath going. 2 more cycles. And as that third breath finishes, drop onto the back knee. Front leg stays straight. Hands can slide down toward the front foot. We've got our torso going close to the thigh for the half split. So feel how the back is receiving this. And walking the hands up so that our spine can be lifting upright again. Here's where we head into that pigeon. So the knee needs to swivel out, toes swivel in. Once you've got that position in, then you can start sending front knee forward, back knee backward. Maybe the shoulder that's by the toes pops out of the fabric. The other one stays in, maybe not. You can keep everything inside. Personal preference. Let yourself sink your weight into the hips and notice how the spine receives this hip opener. Just enjoying for a few more breaths. And we'll take one more good breath in. Exhale, rock onto the front hip. Open the legs. We're swiveling back to that wide figure V one more time. Taking a moment to touch the bottoms of both feet together. It's like a cobbler's pose. We're completely wrapped up inside. So be with the spine here for a moment. Does the spine want to engage sitting up tall? Does it want to have a break, just kind of rounding into the fabric behind you? It's your personal preference, but be with the spine, set it up in a conscious way, and then enjoy 3 really good deep breath cycles. Good. After all 3, start to free your feet back out of each end. And here we're going to take a few extra little bonus leg stretches. So bunch the fabric up that's in front of you. And whichever shin you consider to be your front shin, the one that's facing more toward me, take that shin up onto the fabric that's immediately in front of you. So knee will be out to the front side, toes are to the back side. And from here, we're in a good hip opener once again. So feel how the spine receives this. Does your spine want to be more rounded, more restful backwards? Does your spine want to be more upright, sitting tall, or even leaning in? Just notice. Transitioning this to the hamstring, set that same foot that we just swiveled in onto the fabric that's immediately in front of you, and then begin to slide that foot up. This will get us back into the hamstring. Okay, dropping this leg down, let's take it to the second side. Shin up first. And then moving the arch of the foot onto the fabric, slide it up for the hamstring. Once again, feel how the back receives this, more than just the leg. Feel how the back responds. If it's too intense, the back will tell you by kind of trying to find ways to contract away from it. So if that's the case, push your arms into it to make it a little bit more gentle for the back. Or if the back is feeling pretty good, maybe you're backing your hands off to a little bit of an extent. So let's take another good inhale. Exhale. This foot frees to the same side as the first one, and this will bring our legs back together. The hips are a little bit off center, so just shift left, right, left, right, left, right a few times until you're facing forward again. And then once we're facing forward, we're gonna head into vampire pose. So the fabric that's behind you, take one thin layer to completely cover the shoulders. This is enough that our weight can completely rest into it. It's not too much that it pushes into our neck uncomfortably. So one good thin layer on the shoulders, and then the feet, take the other end, lift up the hips to shift any excess fabric down to the feet. Hands reach up, we're grabbing onto the fabric on the left and the right sides. And then feet come up, we're pushing into the fabric immediately above where the hands are. Push outward, and then that'll help with the hips to rise upside down all the way. You get to choose how long you stay here based on how it feels for your body, but try to pay attention to the spine. Notice how the shoulders are pushing away from the direction of ears, lots of relief for that shoulder area. And notice how the relief through the shoulders may affect other parts of the spine. So just let your breath continue to flow, breathing. And just enjoy this as long as it still feels good for your body. Take another 5 good, deep, relaxing breaths. Coming down, perhaps you take Shavasana, or perhaps the floating child pose, whichever relaxing spot helps you the best. We'll take 3 more breaths and then we'll come out. If your body knows that you need to rest for a little bit longer, that's okay. You can stay just a little bit more. But otherwise, 3 more huge breaths to help us recover. Then when you finish that 3rd breath, we're gonna head out. So bunch up both ends of the fabric and then lift the hips right up and out. Beautiful. We're standing behind the fabric. We're gripping on about as wide as shoulders. And then the upper body gets to go forward, hips get to go back. So let yourself start to sway a couple of inches to the right and a couple of inches to the left. Do this just a few times. And then the next time you sway all the way over to the right, pause all the way to that side, bend the right elbow to point down to the ground. We feel this through the rib cage on the left side, even up to the left shoulder. Good. Switching sides, straighten the arms through the center. Go to the left and bend the left elbow down. Good. Returning forward, bend the knees, roll the spine back up to stand. And once we're up, take your left ankle inside the fabric. We're in a standing position. So left ankle in. First things first, let's head into a nice little spinal twist. So the right hand grabs onto the left strand of fabric, or the right hand pushes along the outside of both from that side. And then this left arm opens up, clear behind us. Take another good inhale. And exhale, we'll start to face forward. You can take the splits forward, or you can just slide the hands down, whatever helps your hamstring feel it. And checking in with the spine again, how is the back receiving this pose? Sometimes we want our legs to do certain shapes, and so that comes to the sacrifice of our spine. So today we're only going so far as the spine still feels really good. And then coming back upright, we're going to start turning toward this right long edge of the mat. So I like to grip my hands onto the right strand, and then my standing toes turn toward that right edge. So from here, on this right strand, we're going to slide the left hand down and the right hand up. We could absolutely stay just like this. This could be opening up the shoulder really nicely. If you'd like to also sink the weight forward for more of a splits, that's beautiful. Okay, take your weight back over your standing leg. Once we're there, slip the fabric down to the thigh, and then we're going to take a tree pose. So this left foot comes up to the right thigh, We're trying to balance here. You can use the fabric to help you balance with your hands, or you can try to just bring your hands to the heart. So either way, taking this moment of balance, feel your standing foot, trying to find the ground solidly, and feel your spine lift tall. Sometimes when we're concentrating on balance, I see people kind of start to lean forward as if that will help us out. Instead, feel the spine lifting, nice and straight, nice and tall. Good. Heading in toward warrior two from here. Take this left arm back inside the fabric and then push it open. So the tricep will be set on toward this left strand. The right arm opens up behind us. And then taking this left foot off of the thigh, start to sink it in toward a warrior two lunge. This is a chance for us to feel the low back and the hips. If I were to go too deep in this, I might be tilting my sacrum, the very lowest part of the back, in a bad way. And so keep enough inner thigh engagement that your low back still feels really good. And then from here, grab one hand on each side. We're going to turn our standing foot to face forward, and we're going to lunge forward toward warrior one. Beautiful. So our grip is nice and tight. We lift up the back knee and then we slide down until that right knee can rest all the way down onto the ground. We've got this one knee cut. And so from here, we'll take a couple of different versions of Camel Pose. First and foremost, let both hands stay on the fabric and slide them up as high as you can reach. From here, sink the hips forward and then gaze up as you start to head the spine backward, the heart into an arch. If you'd like to slide down the fabric just a little bit, that'll help the arch exaggerate just a little bit further. Good, now coming up, tuck the back toes. Take the left hand and grab it on the right side. The right hand circles all the way down to that right heel. And we've got a half camel, so keep the hips sinking forward and feel how your spine receives this supported back bend. Now we're gonna head toward a twisted camel. So the right hand circles all the way up and it grabs the left side. The left hand circles all the way back down to that back heel again. So now we've got the same camel pose, but it's a little bit more twisted. So feel how the spine receives this pose. Good. When we rise that hand back up, replace the hands one on each side. And then we're going to lower ourselves gently down onto the back. So once you've got a tight grip on, step your right foot to the ground and then continue to slide the fabric down your hands all the way onto your back. Keep the left heel inside the fabric. And then this right leg is long on the ground. Hands are on the floor by our hips. Push the left heel into the fabric to help lift the hips up. Right leg reaches up to the sky. Let's hold in this spot, a nice variation of bridge pose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now lower the hips back to the ground. Leave this right leg upward. Hands grab onto that right leg. Try to pull it in just a little bit deeper, encouraging the hips to stay on the ground. They want to lift because that would help to pull the leg tighter, but try to keep it on the ground and only pull it into the point where you can still have the hips down. Now have the right hand support the right leg. As the leg opens out a little bit to the right, only enough that the hip is not quite lifting. And then when this leg comes back up, left hand takes over. You can leave the leg straight or you can bend it as we head into a spinal twist. The knee over toward the left side. This one will lift up the right hip, so that's okay. Huge breath right here. Good inhale. And then exhale, return the hips to the ground. Take this right foot back inside the fabric. So now we've got both feet in. And we're gonna do 5 bridge poses. Just feel your back muscles work just a little bit. So rising the hips up and then roll the rest of the spine up and all the way down. We've got 4 more going up and down. 3, 2, last 1, and then when we go down, free the feet out, roll up to grab the fabric. We can add in a couple of little arm pull-ups just to strengthen the arms. So rise up and down, up and down. You choose how many is appropriate, maybe 3 more. And then when you're ready to be all the way up, go ahead and rise. Once you're there, let's take our right ankle inside. Inside, we're going to take the spinal twist. So left hand grabs the right strand or pushes along the outside of both. And then the other arm opens up to that twist behind us. Feel the spine receive it. It's not forceful at all. Sometimes we force our spine so far. Chiropractors don't really like it when you do that in yoga. So instead, only opening to the point where the muscles are still opening in a good way. And take 1 more good breath right there. Exhale, start to return forward. This can either be a splits forward or you can just slide the hands down for that stretch. Setting up the spine in a way for success. Let it be very kind. And then rising up, we're gripping the hands onto the left strand. We're swiveling the toes open to the left side. And then right hand slides down, left hand slides up. From here, you can either stay or continue to sink your weight forward. Okay, when we come back over our standing leg, we're setting up for the tree pose, the balance. So continue to slip the fabric down to the thigh, right foot up to the left thigh. Set the posture up tall. The back is strong, working forward up for us. If you'd like to continue to hold onto the fabric with the hands, that's great. Otherwise, perhaps hands can come to the heart. Posture's lifting. It's as if we're a plant that's growing instead of shrinking. Good inhale. And then exhale. The arms can open up to warrior 2 position. Free that foot from the thigh and continue to sink it forward. For our warrior 2. Good. From here, gripping one hand on each side, continue to sink to transition the standing foot to face back forward. A moment with warrior 1, hips sinking forward. a tight grip onto the fabric. Lift up the back foot, sliding gently down to the back knee on the ground. Once you're here, keeping the hands high, we'll take the gentle version. Hips go forward, both hands stay. We continue to lean the head back to arch. Maybe we slide down just a couple of inches. Good, and then rising back up, tuck the back toes on the ground. Right hand grabs onto left strand. Left hand goes to the heel. Hips continue to push them forward. Feel the spine receive this nice back bend. And then circle this left hand up, drop the right hand down. We've got the twisted camel. Okay, circling this hand back up, one hand grabs on each side. With that tight grip, we step this left foot in front and then slowly continue to slide down until we're on our back and we've hooked the right heel into the fabric. Turn the toes out to the side, that'll lock it in place. Slide this left leg long, hands are on the floor next to the hips. And then we push the right heel into the fabric, that'll start to lift the hips. Continue to swing the left foot up to the sky, pausing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start to return down. And then from here, grab onto this left leg, helping to introduce it closer to the torso, but keep the hips solid on the ground. Left hand grabs this leg. Try to not lift either hip as we let the left leg go out to the left just a little bit, enough that we have a moment to feel it. And then as that left leg travels back up, it can stay straight or it can bend, heading into the twist to the right. Okay, hips back on the ground. Take both feet inside. Toes turning out to keep that lock. We've got 5 more bridge poses. Once again, just feel the muscles of the back contract with strength and then release back onto the earth. So pushing into the fabric, lifting up for 5 and all the way down. Feel that strength. Here's 4. 3, 2, last 1. Good, and then freeing out the feet, you can grab onto the fabric. Maybe 5 or so more pull-ups as we're coming up to stand. Keep the breath flowing. Just walk backwards when you're ready to be up. Good. And then we'll head to one last little inversion. You're welcome to stay in this inversion as long as it feels good for your body. This will be the last thing of the day. So whenever you're ready to come back out, you're welcome to just come out and then go straight into your Shavasana pose as your recovery pose. So you've got the fabric behind you, it's right at that pant line. Your hands are pushing it into the hips to keep it in place there. One foot takes a small step back and then you bend the knees to lean into the fabric. Tiptoe forward until you're under plumb line. And then hands go high, knees go wide. And then you wrap your feet around. Once you've got that wrap, you're welcome to let go of hands. Just stay in that pose as long as it still feels helpful. So again, we have this until Shavasana. Sooner or later, just allow your spine one last chance to go long. Shavasana now, or still enjoying this inversion a bit longer, let yourself focus on the breath and feel once again the breath going so deep that even the back muscles are expanding open. Here, begin to deepen the inhales and the exhales. Introduce little movements back to fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like you're waking up first thing. If you'd like fetal position for a little while, that's absolutely welcome. Rolling over to one side for a moment. Otherwise, just continue to take little tiny stretches until your body eventually, maybe 30 seconds or so from now, starts to feel ready to come all the way up to a comfortable seated place. So as we're up, we'll join our hands together in front of the heart. And we'll allow ourselves to connect with the back once again. Feel how it is at this moment. Is it comfortable? If there's still any tightness, perhaps you'll stay in your hammock doing any last little stretches that you need in the next few minutes. But thinking of the spine as the stability, as the structure of our life, we can also ask ourselves, how is the stability and structure of my life in general? How am I doing in that area? Sometimes when the back starts to have problems and go out, it's because symbolically we need to work on that in our life, that structure, that stability, that release. And so with the back, with its wisdom to teach us the rest of this day what it is that we need to do to be in greater balance, let's allow ourselves to wrap up the time we got to share together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.